Hi guys, this is Ed again for the second part of our video tutorials on how to set up a website for your business. If you haven't checked out the first video, then do make sure you check that one out first, because you won't be able to follow along on the previous work. In this section, what I want to do is quickly go through some of the steps on how you can improve the aesthetics or the presentation or style of your site to make it look a lot more fit for business. As you can see here, we've just started out on the basic template. All I've done here is I've copy pasted a bit of text in here since last video, so you can kind of see what it would look like. But this is easily found anywhere on the net. Just before we dive into the details, I should say that I'm going to try and keep this video quite short so that you can just dip in and dip out when you need it. It's not going to be a supplement for the lectures, but it's just going to be a bit of a help. Let me just get rid of that. It's just going to be a bit of a help for you if you seem to be struggling with some of this stuff, or you can't follow along in these lectures or seminars. The one thing I would say to you is most people get too hung up on the style of the website. They want it to look awesome. They want it to look flashy. And that's really unimportant. A lot of big online businesses, purely online businesses, can have created huge profits within their first 6-month period without even owning a website, without even having one. So I don't want you to get hung up and think that having a website is a be-all and end-all, because it's not. But I want to show you how you can cheaply and easily just come up with something quick and simple, which you don't have to spend money on, and that will get the job done. If you're going to spend time on this, I would recommend you spend time on the actual text, the copy of your website, rather than the actual feel, because in my experience, unless you're doing something like a web design agency, it really doesn't matter. Okay? I know we're using the web design agency example, but this is just an example. We're going to take this as we would any other site. So the first thing that I want to let you guys know is that you want to be paying attention to the copyright. You want to be paying attention to your offering or your sales pitch on the site. That's what people are going to be looking at. How great the website looks, in my experience, doesn't make a difference as long as you've got a product or service that people want. So this website is just going to act as a platform to that. Right. I'm just going to get started here. First of all, once you've set up your site, you want to go to the settings section and go to the general subcategory. Now what we're going to find here are the site title and tagline for our website. Site title is very important for Google. If you want your website to be found, i.e. in the search engine, if someone types in any web designs, you want your website to have a chance of popping up in the, well, hopefully the top 10. That's why you need to make sure that this text here in the site title, and if you have a tagline, then your tagline is also clearly visible and you've actually entered it in. This is really important. If you go on to use a paid service, you might want to use some of the plugins. There's a plugins. I'm not sure if there's a plugin section in the free version, but there are tools that WordPress provides that can actually help you develop your SEO further by adding metadata such as keywords and so on. But we really don't want to worry about this for the time being. What we're going to take a look at is we're going to try and, as I said, what we're trying to do is develop the feel of this website. WordPress is essentially a blog hosting provider, in the sense that, generally a lot of the free ones are going to look a bit like blogs, like this. It looks nice for a personal blog, but it's not really going to do it's not really going to do a corporate site justice. This one would be awesome, but you don't want to be paying any money for it at this point. And I would say you can get far far cheaper websites for, I would say you don't want to pay any more than £20 for a hosting provider, and then from there you can actually get everything else you need for free, including the templates. So don't be buying any of this stuff. Now, what you want to do is scroll down here and check out the free ones. You know, there's one here. I think there's a couple more down here. You'll notice that some of these don't look quite as good. They might look a bit crappy, but generally that is the point. They want you to get the they want you to actually pay some money. But if you do search long enough, you will find something. I found something. I think I typed in academic, and I found something that I thought was alright for my purposes. This one, I think I'm going to roll with this one. I found this one before. There is a slight spacing issue here, but you guys are going to have a lot more time to work through it, and you're going to figure out how to get everything perfect. Bear in mind that the look is not everything. So let's just refresh this. Right, okay. See how quickly it is to redesign a website? Literally just a click of a button. Obviously everyone will say, but the image is gone, it looks a bit crap. Well, that's true, but we can fix that in just a second. But already you can see, you know, you've got the buttons running along the top. It looks a lot more corporate. It might not be to everyone's taste, but it will definitely do for our purposes. You know, I've seen a lot of successful businesses being developed on far worse looking sites than this one. If we go to header, I'm sure we can adjust this. I'm just working in the appearance section now. Right. What it's asking you to do here, when we need to find a header. So that image that you guys saw in the preview section, I've actually gone through the trouble and actually found a couple that I actually like. I mean, these people are beautiful. I've actually run a Google search and I've found these, so I have cheated a little bit, but I'm going to do it for you just in case. If you want to take your own photos, that's fine, but bear in mind, if you do have a template that requires a certain dimension image, like we do here, I think it's 960 by 300? Yeah, 960 pixels by 300, you might find it difficult to do so. You might find it difficult to find images on Google that match your design, that fit your criteria, but if you are persistent, you will come across it. Alternatively, you can just take your own photos and play around with them in Photoshop. I've just typed in corporate here. What we need to do is we need to use search tools to get exactly what we're looking for, which is 960 pixels by 300, because otherwise it'll get the image will be skewed and it won't look great. Now, once you do this, and this is important, we're not done. We can't just use any image from the web, especially because we might be using it in a commercial setting. We want to filter by usage rights right here, and we want to filter by free to use or share even commercially. And then we are well within our rights to actually use this stuff. And I think they've just reset my dimensions. I'm not exactly sure whether they will have anything, because it is a tall order within the Creative Commons and a certain dimension. But, you know, I'll type in business money, and just literally go through a few of these. By this process, you know, I found this one. I mean, this one is in the Creative Commons, and I do believe this one is too. But a little bit of searching, and you won't have any bother, or perhaps more easily, just find something, even something from your Facebook profile that you posted recently might work, as long as it's not too embarrassing or inappropriate, should I say. So I'm just going to run with this one. Go to images, guys. Right, okay. As I mentioned, I'm not going to add a title because it's going to be a header. Sorry, a caption because it's going to be a header. But look, we have this beautiful people. He loves it. He's loving it right there. I'm just going to choose this one, and once it's loaded up, this should be looking fine. This should be looking great. Right, there we go. Not every theme will require you to do this, so obviously you'll have to kind of improvise and see what works for yours. Notice that there is a slight gap, which some of you might find unappealing, but trust me, it doesn't matter. The worst thing you want to do is be wasting your time on making sure every little nitty-gritty thing is perfect, because in my experience it simply doesn't matter. What matters is the copyright, the sales pitch, and what matters before that is having a service that's great, communicating it and attracting people to your site. So bear that in mind when you're designing this. Don't dedicate too much time to it. Just very quickly, I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to tinker with it. A lot of these themes do enable you to customize some of the parts of it. If you're not quite happy with the logo or the colors, some of these things might be locked because we are using the free version. But you know, there are things you can play around which will vary for each different theme. Right. Okay. Now that we've sorted out you know, the look, we've found a more corporate looking site. We've added like an image which is, you know, slightly photoshopped to make it look a bit more professional. I just want to get you guys set up, and so you can literally, it's ready to go. And I think the one thing that's missing from here is just a basic contacts page, which I'm going to add now. You go to pages, you go to new. You know, it's very intuitive. It's quite straightforward. I'm just going to write contacts in here. I've already copy-pasted something from the net, but literally this is just like what you see. You know, if you're interested, then get in touch and we'll work on the site. And now here comes a highly technical part, you know, of adding a contact form, which companies and freelancers will charge a bomb for, using PHP and the rest of it. All you need to do is, look, boom, click add contact form. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think everyone has a website, so I'm not going to ask for people's website. Add this just before we add the form. State where your email notifications are going to go. So in my case, I'll just put it as edcotton@northumberia.ac.uk, and then we've got any web designs. I'm not actually going to click save and go back to Form Builder because I don't want weirdos sending me their spam, which is one of the downfalls of developing any website. You will get spam. Most of it will be about penises. Just get rid of it and just apply the filters in your email from there. Okay, but literally you can add this form to my post, and what will happen is, let's publish it. And you can edit this. Contact 3 sounds a bit weird. Just contact us. This will be fine. And then if we reload it, what will happen is we should get a button coming along across this page right here. Right. And let's just go in there. Oh, it's embarrassing me. Okay, it hasn't made that change just yet, but I'm sure it just needs to refresh again. And here, look, literally, you've got yourself a contact form, and you know, it didn't take very long at all. And if you get yourself a nice looking theme, you've got your online platform set up for free, you know, and you can't ask for much better than that, really. I think this is where I'm going to leave this section here. Again, do bear in mind that I did add a page. I didn't add a post. Difference between a page and a post is a page is static and will come across here. You probably only want, 2 to 4, and a post will actually publish on your home page, as you'll see. You can add images within your about section. It's very easy to do that. Let me just add another one and show you how that would be done. Again, I don't want to go into this too much. I'm just going to, for an example, and literally, you can paste one of these in, insert into post, and then you can, adapt it, position it where you want to, you can add a border to it and things like that. I'll let you explore that in your own time. There are plenty more tutorials. I just wanted to give you the basics. So let me just get rid of that. And finally, what I would say is, and I'll talk about this a lot more in the lecture, WordPress again offers a paid service. I think it's like £100 for the year. I don't recommend buying that. If you want a really good looking website, you want to customize it and everything like that, it's very easy to do. First of all, you probably need a domain name and a hosting account. I recommend GoDaddy. I've always used them, and they've always done right by me. A great trick that I've actually found is, if you go to Top Cashback, you can actually access the website GoDaddy through them. You can get a significant amount of money back on your order. So a typical hosting account with a free domain name might be about £50, but if you buy it through topcashback.com, they'll give you a 40% discount, so you're only paying like £26 or something like that. And if you're a group of 30 or 15, split that between you, it works out as nothing. Okay, it's like £1 each or something like that. From here, once you set it up, you can go to somewhere like Smashing Magazine, free WordPress templates, and they have some really awesome designs which you can play around with. I'm half tempted not to show you these because I'm sure you'll just get too bogged down in it, because I can't stress this enough. It doesn't matter how good your website looks. At the end of the day, a great website doesn't mean anything, and a bad website can still be very, very profitable. Right here you can see that the one I've used for my blog, where I host all these videos. It's a great blog. It's a great template. It's a little slow, so do be aware that speed is more important. Look, this one is awesome. You can get some really great looking things, and these are free once you've actually got the domain name set up and you've paid a bit of money there, which again doesn't amount to much. But I would just stress that you don't really want to get bogged down in the design. If you want to spend a lot of time on your website, I would say spend time advertising it, as we're going to talk about later on, or developing the copy, developing the actual text, the sales pitch. There's a website called AppSumo, which is like Groupon, but for kind of entrepreneurial apps. They sell courses about copywriting and advertising and so on. But their copyright really gets some crazy results. So just use this as like an example. It was developed by Noah Kagan, who was I think he was employee number 20 at Facebook. So he does know his stuff, and his copywriter is great as well. It's probably a little bit quirky for business to business sales, but it just goes to show that actually the website looks okay, it's great, but the copy really brings it alive. If you want to spend time on something, spend time on this. I'm going to leave it here because we're going to talk about more in the lectures. If you've got any other questions or comments or need any help, put it in the comments section of my blog, which I'll just show you now. It's edcardon.com. Pretty straightforward. Put it in the comments section of the relevant post, and or talk to me in class, and we can go through it, and I might even post a video to help you solve the problem. Bear in mind that I don't want to go into the intricate details of very complex, like how do you know, like link how to install this particular theme which I've downloaded from Smashing Magazine. They can be tricky and they're all different, so if you want to go down that route, just do your research and kind of figure it out, but because it'll just suck all your time, and that is not where I want it to be. I want you to be actually focusing on important things. But just drop me a line if you're having some real trouble, or let me know in class and I'll get back to you. Okay, thanks guys.